Welcome to the Events Summarized, where I will be breaking down and summarizing the key events that happened in all of Genshin Impact story quests. For today, we're going to dive into 1.1 to 1.3. I was inspired to do this series after I saw a lot of comments on my other videos saying that they missed the old events but don't have time to sit down and watch the cutscenes. So this is just a spark notes of what happened put together into a cohesive story. I'm looking at you, 1.3. This is just the first part of a long series, so enjoy. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. I also stream on Twitch, link down in the description if you're interested. But without further ado, let's begin. The story begins with the traveler asking for assistance about meteorites in the area. A large meteor shower happened last night in the countryside of Mondstadt and Liyue. Catherine says that the meteorites seem to have a strange power, and that anyone that touches them is plunged into a deep sleep. The Adventurers Guild asks the travelers' help and assigns them with a person named Fischl, or the Prinzessin der Verurteilung.
My loyal subjects, I see your faces are filled with fear and trepidation at the vile and villainous evils that once again seek, albeit in vain, to disturb the peace and tranquility of our beloved Mondstadt.
Traveler, allow me to introduce Miss Fischl, a senior member of the Adventurers Guild. Fischl, Oz, this is the traveler of whom I have spoken to you previously.
Fischl is a curious character, speaking in long lexicons and extensive vocabularies that are so eccentric that she needs the help of her lovely familiar Oz to translate for her. Fischl is a senior member of the Adventurers Guild and was also assigned to the mission. Fischl says that she's from another world known as the Immernachtreich, a realm of everlasting night. The traveler and Paimon, confused, decide that it's just for the best to understand the situation and finish the quest with Oz and Fischl's help. They arrive to Springvale, where they meet people that were afflicted by the meteorite's strange power. According to a civilian named Joyce, who also witnessed the meteor shower, touching it with your bare hands can bring you into a deep slumber. They also discover that authentic visions flash when they are near the meteorites, so by using the traveler's elemental sight, they begin looking around for more meteorites to dispose of. Along their journey, they see a man sleeping on the floor and another strange man dressed in Inazuman attire watching over him. Paimon says that the man sleeping on the floor must have touched the meteorites, to which the Inazuman responds that he's already dealt with it using his magic. The four introduce themselves to the Inazuman and he says he's a vagrant.
Behold, my people, your beloved sovereign in the flesh. Do not despair, for judgment by thundering retribution is nigh, and it shall surely purge the seeds of nefarious nightmares that now sow chaos across the land.
Excuse me?
Don't mind her, just, let her do her thing.
The Millith come to assess the situation, and the vagrant leaves, bidding the party farewell as the four set off to continue their journey. After investigating everything, they find out that the victims are talking in their sleep about going to distant lands and climbing a mysterious mountain of ice and snow. Upon returning to the Adventurers League, Catherine introduces them to the traveling astrologist Mona Magistes. Mona introduces the art of hydromancy, and through her art, the group finds out that the meteors come from someone's constellation. According to Mona, the stars that make up a constellation or the Stella Fortuna are genuine celestial bodies in the depths of space. The strange thing is that they suddenly turned into meteors and fell from the sky. Mona says they need to look for the person whose constellation this belongs to. The group continues to look for more clues regarding the constellations. Using the information they gathered, they go back to Mona, who uses her astrology to find the original name of the constellation holder, a man by the name of Leonard. Before they can continue with their conversation, the same vagrant from before enters and asks to join the party. The other four are eager to see him again, but Mona immediately goes on guard and teleports them away. It is revealed that the mysterious vagrant is Scaramouche, the balladeer or the sixth of the Fatui Harbingers. He was also sent by his superiors to investigate the scene and understand the nature of the meteors. Having teleported far enough, Mona tells the group about the nature of the Harbingers and said that he was heading straight for the traveler. Paimon suggests that the Fatui might have been the ones behind the meteor shower, and that the party should be careful from now on.
For now, we must deal with the new threat. My astrolabe tells me that a new meteorite has landed, and it's the biggest one yet.
Before they head off to the new location, Fischl bids them farewell and departs, saying that she needs to help those who were inflicted by the meteorite's magic. But before doing so, she thanks the traveler for being good listeners, and thanking them for their company. Paimon notes that Fischl's talking became a little weird, which causes Fischl to break character.
This little journey we had? It was a great adventure. I'm just sorry that it has to end so abruptly.
Huh? You're talking a little weirder than you normally do.
Yikes! What am I doing? I totally broke form!
After the two leave, Mona says that she found something interesting about the constellations and meteorites.
The meteorites carry his will and can pass it on to others. In other words, centuries on from Leonard's life, and the strength of his will is not diminished one bit. A guy from the distant past with a burning ambition to scale the highest mountain. I'd be willing to bet that he was an adventurer. Just like you.
Upon searching for Leonard in Mondstadian records, they find him in an old book called Of Mountains and Seas. There they find the story of an adventurer who dreams to conquer a long-lost mountain.
His lifelong dream was to reach the summit of a mountain called Pylos Peak. I once read somewhere that the Animo Archon, Barbados, once used his divine power to mobilize the winds and blow the ice and snow from the face of the earth. The whole landscape of Mondstadt was changed in the process. The summit still reaches just above the water's surface, so the place known as Pylos Peak in Leonard's day is today known as Musk Reef.
With the new information, they set out to Musk Reef, where they find Scaramouche in a deep sleep. However, he was able to break himself out of the slumber. Scaramouche says that they're too late and that he's already finished with his research. He then drops a revelation about the stars in the sky being a gigantic hoax. Mona and Paimon are quick to question him, but he doesn't elaborate further and instead drops the name of another harbinger known as the Jester, wondering why his superior didn't give him any warning. He takes his leave as Mona, Paimon, and the Traveler engage in combat with his subordinates. After the battle, the three destroy the meteorite core, and there Leonard's full story unravels about how he was unable to climb the final mountain. There he leaves behind the wings of incompletion for future generations to find, so that while he couldn't climb the mountain, maybe his creations can.
Do you think Leonard would be happy about it? The situation with Pylos Peak might be a bit of a shock, but now, with the help of the Animo Archon, the people of Mondstadt are able to glide. With wings, people can travel further and higher than ever before and explore new and unknown places. We have finally finished our commission from the Adventurers Guild.
The story begins with an alchemist named Sucrose spacing out at the base of Dragonspine. Sucrose says that she and Timaeus were helping Albedo organize research data, but she asks the Traveler if they have time. She says that Albedo might be hiding something from her and Timaeus, and she asks the Traveler to help her investigate the matter. The Traveler agrees and they climb the Dragonspine mountain in search of Albedo. They meet Albedo in his research camp. Albedo greets them and shows them a cursed sword that he was tampering with. He asks the Traveler if they're willing to help with gathering information about the sword by using it in numerous experiments. This includes battles and testing its cursed capabilities. However, when fighting treasure hoarders, they accuse the Traveler of being thieves. Confused, the Travelers confront Albedo.
Why are you looking at me like that? Of course I didn't steal the sword.
He says that the sword was found after the Knights of Avonius caught a band of treasure hoarders outside of the city smuggling goods. Albedo just found the sword while it wasted away in the Knights of Avonius storehouses.
Indeed. And I initially intended to perform some experiments on it, but I unexpectedly discovered its true origins in the process. This ancient-looking weapon once passed through the hands of a now-deceased blacksmith. It is a legendary, magical sword.
Albedo tells them the story of Durin and Dragonspine. Durin was a black dragon who menaced Mondstadt but was defeated by Dvalin and Barbados. Durin crashed into Dragonspine and now the mountain is the ultimate gravesite for the dragon. According to Albedo, the dragon's remains were ground into dust before being used to coat the cursed sword. The sword now runs with Durin's corruption and venom, and it became the source of its power. Albedo says that regular humans can't wield this sword, but the Traveler, being able to purify the Valen's tears, can wield it without any problem. Albedo tasks the traveler to find out more about the sword by using it in combat, and the more it's used in combat, the stronger it becomes. Along the travels, they see Cyrus, who engages in a conversation with Albedo. Albedo zones out and doesn't listen to an ounce of what Cyrus says, to which Paimon comments that Albedo is cold towards anything that doesn't interest him, but he sure is interested in the traveler. Cyrus asks the traveler why they're with Albedo, to which Albedo responds with a cover story.
I came here to gather the latest data on Hilichurls, and asked him to serve as my assistant.
Ah, I see. A gathering of people chasing their dreams and ideals, is it?
Cyrus leaves to tend to the newbies, while Albedo and the traveler finish their work. Unfortunately, they have a run-in with the Hilichurls who take Albedo's sketchbook. As hijinks ensue, they rush to recover the sketchbook, only to see it's been tattered. While the sketchbook was damaged, Paimon wonders why Albedo isn't furious after having lost his sketchbook, to which Albedo responds that he would just draw everything again. The traveler, unsatisfied with such an answer, retorts and says that the drawings he made are testimonies of efforts and memories, and that such mementos shouldn't be easily abandoned. Albedo reflects on this statement and ponders. Time passes and the traveler and Paimon return to Albedo's campsite only to find him missing. There they meet Sucrose instead, who says that she's on the final stage of her research. Sucrose, concerned and curious for her teacher's well-being, asks the traveler if they found anything about Albedo's situation. The traveling duo reveal the cursed sword. The group converses for a while until they hear groaning in the distance. They find reckless Pallid entering Albedo's camp while on the journey as he got lost in the mountain. Sucrose says that they should help Pallid reach a safe place, and the traveler agrees, bringing them to a deserted area of Dragonspine. Just then, they're attacked by the Fatui, who want to retrieve the sword as a gift for Lady Senora. Forced to fight, they defeat the Fatui before Albedo arrives at the scene. The four notice something happening to the sword, and that it's beginning to grow in power. Pallid, in his distraught and disarray, thinks that the glowing sword is a fire and immediately pushes Sucrose and the traveler to reach the sword, only for the sword to clatter on the ground and revive a Cryo-Regisvine. The group defeats the Cryo-Regisvine and tries to return to Mondstadt for safety. Albedo extracts the life force from the sword and puts it into a bottle. Albedo then thanks the traveler for helping him out in his experiments, and tells the traveler that the sword is his to keep.
This dragon's life force resonates with me. Not because it's a dragon, but because I am... me. Rhinedottir, Master, is this your creation? The giant dragon Durin? Was the two of us meeting really a good thing?
The story begins in Wangshu Inn, where Vergotet tells the traveler about the Lantern Rite Festival. It's a festival to commemorate the heroes from the past. After the dark, the people release Xiao and Mingxiao lanterns into the sky, but amidst the conversation, Vergotet asks an important question: if the traveler could ask Xiao to accompany them to the Lantern Rite. Paimon, unconvinced by this, tells Vergotet that it's best they leave Xiao alone for a bit in the next few days. The traveler goes around Liyue Harbor to experience the festivities, and they find out that the Mingxiao lantern this year is dedicated to Skybrazer, an old adeptus. The traveler goes around and crafts Xiao lanterns and integrates themselves into the festivities of the Lantern Rite without much problem. While they're in Liyue Harbor, they see a suspicious man in the deck wandering about. Paimon thinks this man is a shady character, and the two follow them to make sure he doesn't go stirring trouble. Paimon notices that the dock is filled with flammable materials, and concludes that a suspicious fellow like him shouldn't be anywhere near the Lantern Rite because it might cause trouble. The two chase the mysterious man and they find him running away. As they chase after him, they see another silhouette in the distance. Xiao stands in Liyue Harbor, investigating the scene of the crime, and Paimon asks if he's here for the festival. Xiao says that he's merely here for investigation, and he doesn't care about the Lantern Rite. Instead, he feels a malignant influence. While looking around, Xiao gives them a symbol that he suspects belongs to the evildoer, but Paimon and the traveler don't recognize it. Xiao tells the traveler that they should take care of the situation, or else if he were to be involved, the streets of Liyue would be painted red. The traveler and Paimon try to find the origins of the symbol, and Paimon suggests that they go to someone that is equally as suspicious. She suggests they go all the way to Mondstadt to ask Kaya about the symbol. Upon arriving in Mondstadt, Kaya greets the traveler and the two catch up. Kaya asks if the traveler The traveler tells Kaya about the symbol, and Kaya says that these are signs an accident is about to happen.
Lantern supplies. Stockpile of wood, paper, and oil. At the very least, it sounds like an accident waiting to happen.
Kaya asks how the traveler thinks he knows about the situation, to which the traveler responds that Kaya always meddles in the dark side. Kaya laughs and he says that the symbol is from the cross-border criminal organization known as the Treasure Hoarders. Kaya says he can arrange an informant for the traveler to talk to, and that they should meet the informant under the windrice tree.
Oh, and remember, wine begets wisdom.
The traveler meets with Kaya's informant, a man named Nimrod. After telling the code, they begin asking Nimrod about the situation. Nimrod says that this isn't the work of the Treasure Hoarders.
The reason the Treasure Hoarders are able to sustain a giant cross-border operation is because they abide by one fundamental principle: caution.
Nimrod says that there's no way the Treasure Hoarders would act in the Lantern Rite, especially not with the Adepti closely watching over them. He also says that the Treasure Hoarders in Liyue received an anonymous letter, and he gives them the branch of Treasure Hoarders that currently has it. As they were approaching the place Nimrod told them about, they meet two people named Bayar and Crafty who tells them that they're going the wrong way. Bayar says that Liyue Harbor is on the opposite side, and that they shouldn't be this far in the middle of nowhere. The traveler, impatient, asks for the letter. Bayar and Crafty immediately demand to know who told them about the letter, and before the traveler and Paimon could slip up, Xiao arrives to the scene to confirm that he was the one who sent the two to investigate. The Treasure Hoarders, afraid but determined, try to reason with Xiao, but they draw their weapons and challenge the authenticity of Xiao's identity as an Adeptus. After their defeat, they immediately plead for mercy and give the letter to the three. The letter says that the Treasure Hoarders should meet a mysterious masked figure in the middle of the night, and that this is a collaboration of a lifetime. Following the letter, they meet up with an unknown sender in a mask. The sender tells them that they should have worn a mask, and the traveler ascends to their position as a 12 Fatui Harbinger.
Well, guess what? We don't need to go sneaking around everywhere wearing disguises because, unlike you, we would never do anything so shameful that we would need to wear masks while doing it. Really? I was in the middle of my speech and everything!
The sender, realizing he got duped, engages in combat and demands to know who the travelers are. After getting beaten up, Paimon demands the sender tell them about the plan. The sender responds that he's just a lowly apprentice thief who looks up to the Treasure Hoarders.
Paimon was expecting a serial arsonist to be someone more sinister, evil-looking, but instead, we get you.
Apparently, the true plan of the criminal was to take the Plostrite by floating it out into the sea. The traveler and Paimon hand the man over to the Millith. After the fiasco, the traveler arrives in Wangshu Inn to celebrate the Lantern Rite with Xiao. The traveler tries to ask Xiao to go with them to see the Mingxiao Lantern of Skybrazer, but Xiao says that he's too impartial to crowds. Unwilling to budge, the traveler decides to ask Vergoldet for another way. Vergoldet commends the travelers for what they did. As a workaround the situation of Xiao not wanting to go to the Lantern Rite, Vergoldet suggests they bring it to him instead. Ver suggests setting up booths and festivities around the ground floors of Wangshu Inn so that Xiao can witness the Lantern Rite. They call for Xiao to attend their miniature Lantern Rite. The group celebrates the Lantern Rite together with the Yaksha, and everyone has a nice, leisurely time over the holiday meal. The traveler asks Xiao one last time if he wants to accompany them to see the Mingxiao Lantern, and Xiao refuses. The traveler instigates a compromise instead, if he can accompany them along the road to Liyue Harbor.
The road from here to Liyue Harbor is long and full of dangers. We need someone to ensure our safety. Nobody says you have to enter the city. You can just see us off at the outskirts.
So be it. I shall accept your proposal.
Xiao accompanies the traveler to Liyue Harbor, but he stops them by the outskirts. He tells them that this is as far as he goes, and that the two should watch the festival without him.
But stay vigilant. Keep your eyes open for any menace. If you find yourself in trouble, speak my name. Anywhere, anytime. Whether yours or Liyue's, I hear all cries for help, all prayers for peace, and all the wishes carried by the lanterns.